everybody, and welcome to another week of the video terms. I hope you're all doing really well. Hope you're managing to fit videos in around crazy life at the moment. I'm hoping one day we might be able to get back in the studio, which would be awesome. So anyway, let's make a start. So we're going to practice our Viloma 2 breathing. But before we start, just check that you have all the things that you need. So if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster. If not, I've found that if you grab a couple of normal pillows off of the bed, if you pile them on top of each other and you can kind of hug them round, they work reasonably well like a bolster. If you have any difficulty getting into Happy Baby, it may be worth grabbing some kind of strap if you have one, elastic band if you have them from Charlotte, or even just the belt off of your dressing gown would be really handy. Make sure that you have a thin blanket which you can use for underneath the head and you can use for Shavasana at the end. And then if you have an eye pillow that you would like for Shavasana, have that accessible as well. If you don't have a lavender eye pillow and you'd like one, I've got some freshly made ones with organic linseed and lavender that I can post out to anybody if you'd like any. So just give me a shout if you would like to. So start laying down, I would suggest. You can do it seated, but you need to keep the length through the core and it can become quite tiresome after a while. So I suggest laying down either with the legs out straight or the knees bent, whichever you find most comfortable for the lower back. But just take a moment to get yourself into position. And then just to recap in terms of what Viloma 2 pranayama breath is. So before we've paused our inhalation and then we've just let the exhalation go. We did that for a whole term. I think it was while we were still in the studio. So what we're doing now is actually pausing the exhalation. So we take a big inhalation and then we release some breath and pause, release some breath and pause, and then we just release the rest of our breath naturally. We don't push it, we just let it come out. It wants to come out. So before we get started, just start to lay still, start to notice and observe your breath. We're not trying to change anything at this stage, just really feeling how does the body feel, how does the mind feel, and just bring in that conscious awareness to our breathing. We breathe thousands and thousands of times a day, but we're not always conscious of that. It's automatic, it happens. So I think just bringing our awareness to our breath brings us into the present moment, into the here and now. So very grounding. It's a good habit to get into. So anytime that you feel that you have the opportunity to just observe the breath and sit with yourself is a nice practice. So as we start to observe the breath, we're just noticing how the body feels today for our practice. You might already feel there's a little bit of tension somewhere, you might already feel relaxed. Again, we're not trying to change anything, it's just being aware of those things. And then as we start to observe the breath, we're going to just start to deepen the inhalation. So just trying to maybe elongate the breath, maybe taking it deeper down. So you're breathing into the lungs, down into the stomach. And then we're going to release the breath, but slowly, gently. We're not pushing the breath out, the breath wants to leave the body. But just starting to elongate the in-breath and the out-breath. So just take a couple of rounds of the inhalation and exhalation as it is, elongating both parts. And then while you're doing that, just a couple of things that I found that have helped me sometimes. Now I can just pause the breath and it comes quite naturally, but in the beginning it helped me to visualise either that the lungs were divided into 3, so you're filling the lungs up and then you're breathing a third out, pausing, breathing a third out, and then releasing the final third on the final breath. That was one way. Another way was that actually the lung had a balloon in, so you're filling the balloon to full, and again, just as you breathe out, you're releasing it by a third, releasing it by a third, and then completely letting that air go. So you may not need either of those, but just a couple of ideas in case they help. So when you're ready, we're going to take that breath in. So take a nice deep breath in, comfortable and easeful. And then when you're ready, releasing some of that breath and pausing, releasing some more and pausing, and then letting go, releasing everything fully. And continues to take another breath in and then start your pauses. I'm not going to tell you when to breathe and when to pause. Please go at your own pace and really get into the rhythm of the breathing. As you start to get your technique and rhythm, this is a really great breath to allow you to feel calm and free. And the session that I've put together today is for calming the mind and to help to promote better sleep. If at any time the breathing doesn't feel right for you, you can always return back to your normal inhalation and exhalation and rest for a moment with normal breath and then start again. Or some days you may find that the breath just isn't working today, in which case you can just come back to normal, deeper breath in and out. Just use whatever you need. This is your practice. So just continuing, allowing the body to feel heavy and heavier as you exhale, feeling the support beneath you, into the mat, into the ground beneath you. Maybe allowing the shoulders to drop down further and relaxing next to you. The feet are dropping out to the side, which further promotes relaxation. And if the mind tries to wander off or wants to think about different things, just acknowledge that thought or those thoughts, and then just bring your focus back to your breath. And we're just going to take one final round of that breath. And then when you've finished, just returning back to your normal breathing. And maybe noticing, has anything changed during your practice? Maybe the breath felt a little bit more erratic at the beginning, and maybe it just feels a bit deeper and a bit calmer now. And maybe very subtle changes. And in time, as we practice more, those changes will feel different. And then from laying, if you'd like to bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated position, we're going to sit cross-legged in what we call easy pose. If this isn't comfortable, there's a couple of options. So you can either roll up the blanket and sit on the blanket, which elevates the hips, which makes sitting cross-legged slightly more comfortable. If that still doesn't work, then you can either come to a kneeling position or you can bring the legs out in front of you, because we can do all of these stretches in the same way. So when you're ready, we're going to sit cross-legged or however your legs are. Spine needs to be straight, so we want to create this space in the torso, which means that we can breathe freely and easily. We want the head to be pulled up but slightly tilted forward, so that we've got that energy drawing all the way up. We're going to place the hands on the knees, and we're going to roll the shoulders up and down, up and down, so you can actually feel your shoulder blades, the scapula, moving around. We're also making sure that we've then not got the shoulders up near the ears, because we tend to hunch sometimes. So just up and round, up and round, and then we'll try that in reverse, so bringing them up and forward, up and forward. And remember to breathe, so breathe in and out. And then pausing, and one final back and down, just to make sure that the shoulders are down and straight along the back for our starting position. So So we're just going to take the right ear to our right shoulder. So the shoulder's not moving, it's the head that's moving. And we're just going to take 4 normal breaths here. Just imagine as you're breathing into that side of the face in this area. And then bringing the head to centre as we take the left ear to the left shoulder. So again, keeping the shoulders still, it's the head that's moving. We're not tilting the head is just coming straight over. And again, just taking 4 breaths here. And again, imagine breathing into this side of the body. And then bringing the head to centre. This time we're going to actually twist the head. So we're going to rotate the head and look towards the right. And just take a breath or 2 here. And then bring the head to centre. And then take it to the left and a couple of breaths here. And apologies about the noise that my stomach seems to be making. Hopefully you can't hear that on camera. Okay, so we're now going to come into some lateral stretches. So we're going to take the left hand just down by the side. We're going to float the other arm up and we're going to lean over and just take a couple of breaths here. And then back, float that arm down, place it down on the floor, floating the other arm up, and then bending the other arm as we come over, keeping the body in line. So we're not leaning forward, we're not leaning back, it really is a lateral stretch. And then float that arm down. Now we're going to bring the arms forward and up. We're going to twist to the left, the torso. We're going to place the right hand on the left knee and place the left hand behind. So we're coming into our seated twist. So we're just gently warming the spine up. And then keeping the right hand on the left knee, we're going to twist forward, placing the left hand onto the right knee. And as we do so, we're going to fold forward and then wrap those arms around the back like we're giving ourselves a hug. So we're opening up the upper back here, the shoulders, and taking a nice breath here. As we then roll ourselves up, releasing the arms. So again, floating the arms up. This time we're going to take the left hand to the right knee and the right arm behind and look back towards that shoulder. Just taking a breath here. And another one. Before we allow the body to rotate back to centre, we then take the right hand, place it onto the left knee, folding ourselves forward and wrapping around. And then we're releasing, coming back up, releasing those arms and just giving the shoulders a couple of rolls, bigger rolls this time. Okay, so now we're going to come onto all fours. hands underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide, knees hip width apart. Starting in our neutral, we're going to come into our cat first. So we start to tuck the pelvis under as we hollow the stomach, and we drop the head back down to look between the knees. So this is on an out breath. And then as we breathe in, we come back through to neutral. We allow the spine to dip downwards in the opposite direction as we lift the head up into our cow. And again, we then tuck the pelvis. The head is the last thing to move. So tuck, 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 round, 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 round. Then you feel the spine naturally want to move the head. So move with your own breath as we take a couple more of these. And then one more. And then from here, if wrists are okay, we'll carry on. If not, you can just come off the wrist for a minute, give them a circle. We won't be on the wrist for too long. So we're going to start in tabletop. So we're going to slide the right leg down the mat and lift. As we then lift the opposite hand, we're then going to bring the hand out to the side as we take the leg out to the side. We're then going to swing back, so engaging the core, keeping that length through the spine, feeling like you're pulling away with the foot and the hand. So we're then going to take the left leg down and lift, taking that arm away, so feeling that pull, so the spine is lengthened, bringing the foot to the side, the arm out to the side, and coming back again and releasing back down. So we'll do one more on each side. So taking the right leg long, the left leg arm out, so you're feeling that lengthening through, and then we're going to take that to the side just as far as feels comfortable, and placing that back down. Again, taking the left leg out, lifting that up, lifting the right arm, feeling like you're pulling away in both directions, as we then take out to the side and back down. And then our final position here, we're just going to tuck the toes, and we're going to lift the knees just ever so slightly off of the floor for the count of 5, and place back down. And then one more, sucking the core and releasing. And then untucking the toes, and we're just going to come down. You can come down into a supported child's pose by using your pillows or your bolsters, or you can come straight down onto the floor, head down. Just allow the shoulders to relax down and round, and just allow yourself a moment here. So let's start to put our breathing in place now for our yin postures. So we take a breath in. So practicing in child's pose is a great way to start. So we're taking that breath in, pausing the breath, slowly and gently exhaling, and then just pausing at the end of your exhalation for a fraction of time before starting all over again. And just continue feeling where you're laying on the top of your thighs. You'll feel the breath in the midsection. You'll feel the stomach feedback on the legs. You'll feel it more around the back body. So we've got a very gentle curve and stretch to the spine in child's pose. We're stretching and working into the ankles as well, and a little bit into the hip flexors. So just taking another round of breath there. And then when you're ready, just gently rolling up, coming up to kneeling first of all. So we're going to come into plank pose, and we're just going to lift a leg and move the legs across the midline of the body, which I'll talk us through. So again, if we want to take the hands underneath the shoulders, actually move my blanket so I don't slip. Okay, so we're going to take one leg long onto the toes, and the other leg long and onto the toes. And then going to lift the left leg, tap it to the inside and outside, and place it back down. We're then going to come across the midline and out and place it back down. And then one more, in, out and back down, across, out and back down, and then coming down onto your knees, coming along, just releasing those wrists, as we then come back up to seated, as we're going to come into butterfly pose. So we're bringing the soles of the feet together, and you can come into a supported version or a not supported version. So if we're in a non-supported version, we take the elbows wide and we just bring the head forward, allowing the spine to round. Or you can use your pillows, your bolsters, anything that you have, placing them, you can have them this way, whichever height you need, and bringing the head down to rest. So just again, coming into your breathing here, taking that breath in, pausing your breath, slowly and gently exhaling. And just giving yourself a few breaths before maybe seeing if you can then, if you're using a bolster or if you're unsupported, after 3 or 4 breaths where you've allowed the body to relax a little bit more, maybe just see if you can bring the head down a little bit lower, because the body will have relaxed. We're working into the connective tissue and the fascia, so it has a moment just to stretch and relax because we're holding that posture. So just have a play around with your movement. And then releasing when you're ready. Just taking those legs out in front of you, stretching them out. We're actually going to come into a hamstring stretch with our caterpillar forward fold. So again, taking the legs straight. This is not a straight backed forward fold. It's okay to curve the spine. So the options are having a bend in the knee if you don't have the right things to support, and bringing the chest down and holding the head. And here, from here, you take a couple of breaths, and then you just see if you can walk the feet a little bit further, and you'll find that as the legs relax, the body's coming down with it as well. So that's the one option. Or you can place something, cushions, pillows, blankets, anything, and folding forward and resting the head down here. Whatever you're doing, you just want to feel like you can feel that there's a pull along the hamstrings. So if you are in this position, obviously one position might feel easy, so just challenge it a little bit. You want to feel something, so you don't want it to be too easy. So just have a play around with your leg movements. Take a couple of really nice breaths. And just use your breath to bring the body lower and closer down, and find that point where you can feel that you're working the body, but it's not absolutely painful. So just find your edge in that position. And then when you're ready, gently rolling yourself up. And we're going to come into winged dragon. So I know this is generally not a popular pose. In every class I've been to, or every class I've done, various lunges and all sorts of things don't always seem very popular, but they're actually, it's the ones that we don't like so much that it's probably the ones that our body needs to do more. So it's why I keep sticking it in every now and then. Okay, so from tabletop we're going to bring the right foot forward, and we're going to slide the left leg back just as far as is comfortable, so you feel like you've got that good lunge. We're going to bring the hands to the inside of the front foot, and we're going to roll out onto the outer border of that right leg. Staying here is fine, and using the weight, so you're pushing down into the hands, so really into this round bit of the hands is where it's taking the weight of the upper body. Now you can come down, clasping the hands, and come lower if that feels comfortable. Staying up on the hands is also fine. And again, just using your breath, really feeling that you can feel that bite point. You're feeling that tension, but using your breath to relax the tension. And then if you're on forearms, coming back up onto the hands, first of all for that extra support, releasing that leg and swapping over and coming to the other leg. So we're bringing the hands in front, we've got a nice lunge position, and then when we're ready, we're rolling out onto the outer border, hence our winged dragon. So staying here is absolutely fine, or coming down, clasping the hands. And you may find that you have one side that feels more comfortable than the other. And again, just work with, you can always back off the pose ever so slightly, but just work with what feels good for you. And remembering to breathe. And then pushing back up onto your hands, rolling on back onto the sole of that foot, bringing that leg back and coming down onto the mat. So we're going to take the feet wider than the mat and just allowing the heels to turn inwards. You can have your blanket if you like underneath your head, so bringing that up to the front of the mat, heels rolling inwards, arms crossed, just bringing the head down. So we're stabilising the lower back in this pose. It's really good for the sacrum, allowing everything to settle around the sacroiliac joint. It's also a really calming pose. We're massaging the vagus nerve, which we know from recent studies actually helps to transmit neurosignals to allow the body to go into rest and digest mode. And then from here, we're just going to bring the legs back in so that the legs are together. And we can keep our blankets here. You may want to use them in a moment, but we're going to bring the elbows so that they are underneath the shoulders, palms facing down. We're going to come into our Spinks Pose. And from here, I'd like us to lift one leg and pull the heel back behind you, and then lift the other, so that what we've done is created some extra space in the lower back. So we want to engage the core, so we're supporting the lower back, and you shouldn't feel any pinching or uncomfortableness in the lower back. And we're going to take some breaths here. What we can also do is roll up the blanket and pop it underneath the chest, just for some additional support. And the eye line is just down to the front, towards the front of your mat, so we're not looking straight ahead, ever so slightly down, so that the neck is in line with the spine. And again, we don't want to put too much stress and pressure through the neck, but if you feel able to, we're just going to take a turn to the left with the head, and then back to centre, and then right and back to centre. We're then going to raise one leg, only a tiny amount, and then the other leg. So we'll do one more of those. So head to the left if it feels comfortable for your neck, to the centre, to the right, back to the centre, and then we're lifting the right leg and the left leg, and then we're going to roll back down. So just flipping over onto your back, we're just going to come into a twist after our back bend. So we're going to take the arms out to the side, parallel to the side. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to just kind of glue the knees and the ankles together here. So we're going to twist and rotate, taking the legs to the right as we take our heads to the left. And just take some lovely breaths here with your pause. The shoulder blades need to remain down on the floor. If that means bringing the legs back up, please do so. And if you want to place a blanket or bolster, if you want to rest the knees on something, you can. Entirely up to you, whatever feels good for you. We then bring the head to centre and the legs to centre, and again keeping the knees and the ankles glued together as we take the legs to the other side. So we want to remain with the legs stacked, taking the head in the opposite direction. If it's at all uncomfortable for the neck, keep the head to the centre. And then releasing head to centre and legs to centre as well. So changing arm positions, we're going to come to cactus arms, so placing a bend in the arms, placing the elbows down and hands down, hands wide. We're going to take the feet as wide as the mat, and we're then going to come into windshield wiper legs, so just bringing one leg in, Take some nice breaths here. As we then bring the legs through to centre and over to the other side, just as wherever they fall. And again, just bringing the focus to the breath, not allowing the thoughts to take over. And then releasing the legs back to centre. So remain laying on your back. I'm just going to demo. So we're going to come into happy baby pose, but if you have a belt, any kind of belt, dressing gown belt, strap, elastic, band, anything like that, I can just show you how we can use that at home, which may make this pose slightly more accessible. So we're going to bring the feet up, soles of the feet facing up to the ceiling. So we want to have, what am I doing? We want to have the strap either side of the leg so that we can bring the feet down just towards the chest. So it's just another way of coming into happy baby pose, especially if it's quite hard to hold on to the feet. So that's one option that's available. If not, we take the side of the feet pointing up towards the ceiling as we bring the legs down, hugging in to the side of the chest. So this is feel good factor pose. It's meant to really enhance the mood as well as opening the hips and hopefully releasing stored emotions. So just take some nice deep breaths here. And then releasing the legs down, rolling onto your side, just coming up when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to come into melting heart pose, puppy dog pose. So grabbing your blanket, if you know that you need that extra bit of height in this pose, place a cushion down on the mat as well. So we start in all fours, in tabletop. We slide the hands forward as we bring either the forehead down or we place the chin on the floor, keeping the feet down on the mat. And just remembering to breathe again, bringing the focus to the breath. If at any time it's too much for the arms, you can bend the elbows and wrap them around the head. So just 2 more breaths there. And then then coming up, taking the bottom down towards the heels and bringing the head down, bringing the arms back into happy baby pose, sorry, child's pose, what was I saying? And just relaxing here for a moment. So just allow the shoulders to relax round and down as we just take some calming breaths here. And then slowly and gently, just coming up when you're ready. We're going to come over onto our back, so we can use the blanket underneath the head. We're going to come into waterfall pose, legs up the wall pose it's called. So we can either use a bolster, we can use pillows, or literally as the pose says, you can actually put the feet up against the wall. So you have options depending on whichever one you find most comfortable. So I'm going to use the bolster, bringing the bolster up to the sacrum area, just finding that comfortable position first of all, before we then bring the legs up and just allowing the legs to dangle. So we're just taking the pressure off of the heart here, just allowing gravity to do the work for the heart. So just allowing the heart some time to relax. Then holding on to your bolster or your blanket, just taking one leg down at a time and staying here for supported bridge for a moment. And then gently sliding the bolster out, bringing the spine down. We're going to take the soles of the feet together and just allow the legs to come out to the side. Arms out to the side, palms facing upwards. And taking the legs long, allowing the feet to drop out to the side. So we're going to take our Shavasana. If you want to prop something underneath the knees, then please use your bolster or your pillows or cushions. If you'd like to pop a blanket over you, eye pillows, just grab whatever you need. Now, while we get ready, and I'll take you into Shavasana and our guided relaxation. Okay, so Just find yourself as in a comfortable position and let your hands rest loosely either in your lap or by your side. And if you've got the eye pillow on, that's fine. If you haven't, just gently closing the eyes down. So take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose, all the way down into your stomach. And hold the breath for just a moment. And then exhale through your mouth. Allow your breath to carry away all stress and tension as the air floods out of your lungs. Take another slow breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs completely. Hold it for a moment and release the breath through your mouth, sighing the breath out, emptying your lungs completely with your out breath. Feel that the tension in your body has begun to loosen and subside. And then when you're ready, taking another breath in as deep as possible, holding it for a moment, and then letting it go. Start to feel yourself relaxing more and more deeply with each breath. So bring your awareness to your feet and toes. And now breathe in deeply through your nose. And as you do, gradually curl your toes down and tense the muscles in the soles of your feet. Hold your breath for just a few seconds and then release the muscles in your feet as you breathe out. And now bring your awareness to your calf muscles. Breathe in deeply, and as you do, point your toes up towards your knees and tighten these muscles. Hold them for just a moment and then let those muscles go limp as you exhale. And take another deep breath in, and as you do, tense the muscles in your thighs. Hold for just a moment and then release the muscles. Focus on letting them go limp and loose. Draw in a nice deep breath and gradually tighten the muscles in your buttocks. Hold this contraction for a few seconds and then release your breath and feel the tension leaving your muscles. Feel them relaxing completely. And draw in a nice deep breath, and as you do, clench and tighten your stomach muscles. Holding for a moment and releasing your breath and letting your muscles relax. And bring your awareness to the muscles in your back. As you slowly breathe in, arch your back slightly and tighten these muscles. And now release your breath and let the muscles completely relax. Pull your shoulders up towards your ears, squeezing the muscles as you breathe in deeply. And then as you breathe out completely, let your contracted muscles go loose and limp. Feel the heaviness in your body now. Enjoy the feeling. Breathe in again and clench your fists and tighten all the muscles in your arms. Really squeeze the muscles as you hold your breath. And now release and gently breathe all the way out, letting your arms and hands go loose and limp. And now tighten the muscles in your face by squeezing your eyes shut and clenching your lips together. Breathe in fully. Hold this for a moment. And now breathe out and relax all your facial muscles. Feel your face softening. Take a deep breath in and then open your mouth as wide as you can. Feel your jaw muscles stretching and tightening. And now exhale, allow your mouth to gently close. And take one final deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. Hold for just a moment and then release and relax. Let all that air carry away every last molecule of tension. You are now completely relaxed from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Enjoy this feeling for as long as you like, and you can take your time remaining here for as long as you want, or you can start to bring gentle movements back into the body. I won't talk you through these in case you want to stay, so I will say thank you very much for joining the video. Stay here for as long as you like. Namaste. Take care.